listen to a song. Paul no Silas betunana. Hey, me and you have listened to a song. Yeva? Lengoma lena. It don't tell me what praise and faith cannot do. There's nothing that God cannot do for you if you put a move of faith right there. So it's a move of faith. Yonke into. I mean, we've been speaking with Umsofu lapha, and we were just sharing the move of God. If God says go, go. Don't delay. Don't do anything about what's what. Ubawo, nguye, cha. So let me not steal the show. The man of the hour, he is here. So we do have messages coming through. Mamuzomzi, thank you so much, man, for always being a person that is full of support, on what God is doing. There's a scripture that I actually want to read, but I'm not going to read it now because of time. It is found in Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61. Just read from verse 1 up until verse 7, or the whole entire chapter, if you will. But I just want you to meditate on Isaiah 61. The Spirit of God, the Master, is on me, because God anointed Sofire. Hey, and Sophia, guys, I put a little Sofire. Because God has anointed Sonwabo. He sent Sonwabo to preach good news to the poor, heal the brokenhearted, announce freedom to all captives, pardon all prisoners. God sent Sofire. Somebody in Sitch. It's an internal joke. Sorry, guys. Sonwabo. God sent Sonwabo to announce the year of His grace, a celebration of God's destruction of our enemies, and to comfort all who mourn, to take good care of those who are in need. Listen, the scripture goes on and on and on, but today you are going to be experiencing one of the sensitive, fine stories of what God can actually do in your life, in Sonwabo's life, and in my life. I'm super excited to just welcome Sonwabo in studio today. He is live on Facebook. So like I said, guys, Hambani, go and tell everybody that Sofire is in the building, okay? Tell them that my friend is in the building, okay? And he will be taking us through his journey, of and sharing his testimony of what God has done. Mr. Msof?
Kona.
How are you, sir? You good?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm grateful.
Amen.
I appreciate the moment. The invite. So happy to be here. I mean, I told you just now, I substituted even my class session, the wow one on a Monday. Yes, on a Monday, they're coming back from Papa Love. They're like, they're going to fix ourselves by Sofire's sessions. But I said, no, God is calling me, to the radio interview. And I'm trying to, so viewers, I'm good. I'm good. I'm here.
That's so good. He's here. Like I said, guys, happy birthday is all. It was his birthday yesterday. So blessings to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
I hope this particular 30 minutes, I think, that we have together, will take you back memory lane, and will it heal some other patches that Okanyu Satana has left a hole right there. So I mean, getting straight into it, I want to introduce you. There's so many things that I want to say, but you will take us through your journey. Okay. So Sonwabo, guys, Bomvana. Yeah, Bomvana.
That's not an inside joke. No, that's what I said.
I'm so used to calling you Sofire.
I know.
Sonwabo Bomvana, well known as Zumba King. Yeah. Hey, Sonwabo Sofire Bomvana is a dance and fitness instructor.
Yes.
Very motivated and loves to motivate as well. A character that is full of energy. Bang. A character that is really full of energy. Hence, he is a great MC. So do, guys, if you have anything that's coming up, hit your guy up.
Hit me up.
He's your guy.
Yeah,
he's your guy. He's your guy. He is a change agent for Christ, of course. Loves interacting with people and a self-motivator. His motto is the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory.
Yo, power to that, my lady.
Welcome,
Power to that.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you so
Hey,
much.
man.
Thank you, my lady. Thank you to the viewers out there with the warm welcome. I'm really, yeah, I feel welcomed as well.
Yeah, take us through your journey. So,
Yeah,
where did it all begin?
Okay, I'll start with, Sonwabo, Bomvana, being, just an ordinary child from ordinary parents, those that, although that I didn't know them. But, most where we grew up in the townships, there was this say that, the child is raised by the village. I don't know how it goes in a proper way that, child village, whatever. But in any case, I was raised by my relatives, which I'm grateful for, because they never really made me feel like I was unwanted or something like that. But although, at times there will always be that place where you feel like, ish, you wish now there was a mother that you will go to and say, Mama, can you buy me this tiki or that thing for Christmas or whatever the case might be. So in those moments, I will really feel that space, But I really never let it bother me to that extent that it will be, emotionally succumbing me to make me feel like, oh, I don't have a mother and all that,
sure.
But in any case, those are the things that are happening holistically in our body, and we never know how God, drives this car at the time. You understand? Yeah. So growing up in those moments, I will just say that, I lived. And I survived, until life let me out now of the house to the street, and the street, the street always teaches us the hard way. Yeah, understand?
Ready.
I'm telling you, it teaches us the hard way. But luckily for me, there was a bit of a foundation from, the Rastafarian around the corners of our streets at the time. In nowadays, I don't know. I don't think they are still there. Because I remember the other day I saw them being chased away close to the mall and stuff, because Guguletu was building a mall, and all of a sudden they didn't want the Rastas to be on corners. But in any case, they made it different in our lives, and they made it different even to our big brothers that were the so-called gangsterism of at that time, like the Nsaras, Amafela, because most of them, they turned into Rastafarianism to escape the gangsterism.
Okay.
And they were quite healed by the religion of the Rastafarian and stuff, because it was so influential at that time. I remember even at me, there was a place that it really kind of like comforted whenever I'm with the Rastas, despite the fact that ganja, one puff, you are Irish. Anything that comes out of Rastafarian, education, you are receiving it in a higher level. You know what I mean? I remember there was a joke where the Rastas were up high and in the sky, and then there was a walkie bending close to them, and then they say, yeah, so people will crack those jokes about marijuana and ganja.
Oh, man.
But nonetheless, man, their foundation was more or less comforting to me, to make me feel that I am my own, despite having a mother and a father, and despite having those relatives that are looking after me and raising me and doing whatever they can as the mothers of Sofire at the time.
Yes.
I can still be me, and then when the street got me, I already had that foundation to be strong. So I mingle around exactly. I mingle around the street quite well, because the Rastafarian foundation was quite tough and stuff, despite the fact that now in terms of succumbing substance like ganja, there was a bit of marijuana. There was a marijuana. There was a bit of a bridge, you understand? Because being in the street now, while coming from the Rastafarian that were smoking ganja, marijuana, and the bridge now to the street, it's experiencing another drug that the streets kind of like tolerates, or maybe make you feel like you are known now, you are mighty, or whatever the case might be. And to me, it happened very slightly, because my other friends were smoking it, and while I was not yet smoking it. So the other day I didn't have ganja, and I said to them, guys, look, today I don't have ganja. I don't think I will stay. You understand? You guys can carry on smoking your Menrex. I don't smoke Menrex. Then they said to me, no, don't worry. After we have smoked in Menrex, we're going to take out the whole ash and put it out, and then maybe you can start lighting your ganja, because it will only be ganja there. Never knowing that the smoke of
substance.
that Menrex powder is succumbed into that ganja that much that
Sure.
it can no longer just be ganja now, even if you can see the grass. But when you light it and you pull it in, you're going to experience the high of the Menrex
That's how
rather than
strong it is. Wow.
Yo. And I mean, I wouldn't blame no one in that case because I made the decision to say, okay, you know what, I don't have
I'll
ganja.
use yours.
I'll just use yours. But after I got that experience of that high, which was like way more than like, you know,
What you got
ganja.
from
Exactly. It was a bit annoying at first, but later on stage, it felt so good. It's like, it was like it makes me escape everything that I've ever
all your
thought
worries.
of. All your worries. The
Sure,
system, you know.
sure.
But it was my what can they say? My terrible mistake. Because since then,
Sure.
I fell in love with it, you know, and the street that really hustle for it taught me how to hustle for it. That's where now,
Sure.
you know, the activities of criminology took place. Yabona? Sofire now it's a big thing. Yabona? Going from level of you know, robbing around the neighborhood, you know, and the shopping centers, you know, to robbing the buses at the Golden Arrow. I was just cracking a joke now with my Uber driver, telling them that back in the days, the bus drivers used to put the money in their t-shirt.
Because they know Sofire's coming.
Not really. No? But they didn't fear to be robbed at the time. I mean, today it's worse because it's technology. So they no longer put the money in their pocket now.
Yeah,
They
bank
carry,
or swipe
there's
or
cards,
whatever,
everything
yes.
is swiped and all that, yeah. But at our time, we will get the cash. And that thing that goes... put it in the bag. You know, and it went on and on and on until
Yeah, sure.
the results or the consequences of the criminology, you know, appeared where, you know, one got now arrested and went on to prison. I remember my first arrest wasn't really much of like, you know, a scary thing because I already now knew the system from outside. I already had friends from outside that are operating in the prison, you know, culture thing. We prefer calling it culture, the guys of my age and at that time, because at that time, you know, we were just coming from the apartheid era.
Gotcha.
So it was still respected as the culture of prison that holds us as prisoners together instead of fighting each other because you know its foundation was to build us together and fight against the system so that the prison can have beds, the prison can have TVs. You know, that's why in our days I don't like really see the need like it doesn't really serve no longer the service that it used to serve. That's why today it's just a mess, you know. It's turned out to
luxury.
be exactly and also the culture, it's turned out to be like a gangsterism kind of a thing now. But I don't want to discuss into details because, you know, there's different strokes for different folks in that case. Yeah. Unless we are talking about it, then I know my points and I know how to, you know, debate it amongst those that are being videoed and being interviewed at times about it. But in any case, I was comfortable at my first arrest, but my auntie was worried. So she got me bailed out with 500 rand. I went outside, but the case carried on and carried on and carried on until I got sentenced to 9 months.
Okay.
So that was my first sentence, you know.
Sure.
I was lucky though that at the time I got sentenced, it was 1997, and then by 98, end of 1997, by 98, Mandela issued what they call amnesty. Exactly. So that amnesty kept me totally out of prison because it took away all the whole 6 months that, you know, I was supposed to stay behind or maybe serve as a parole. Then I went out. But then, you know, when I went out, I was like, I've seen the consequences. They didn't beat me up, you know. It wasn't painful to be there.
So it just felt like you needed to do it again because
and you know what I mean. And also remember now, I know the game, I know the levels of the game, and I'm been in the game of the guns as well, where we are taking like real money now. We're robbing companies, we're robbing trucks, you know, that are coming with cigarettes and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes to even closer to haste, but we were just a bit scared that the haste can lead us to die and stuff. So we were those kind of people because our men recs sometimes will give us those senses. Nah, don't go. Even though in the mingling and the talking and all the discussions and exchange with guns, we will be around.
Yeah.
But when it comes to attack, we'll be you know what, this is not for us. Exactly.
Sure.
But I did it, my lady, to that extent that I ended up now being in re-offender in prison. I'll come in and out. To an extent, I wouldn't stay longer than 6 months outside. If I go out,
You come back in
I'll come back after 6 months, closer to December. That's why I'm very, very, scared of December and what you call a festive season.
Yeah.
People will wonder, why are you always inside, man? I mean, it's Christmas. You are supposed to be out and mingle and
Because
cry.
it takes you
And
back.
look,
It
man,
takes
it
you
takes me
back.
back so emotionally that it makes me feel as if it can be taken away from me. I can easily
Got
go
the
back.
freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I can't remember spending Christmas outside of prison since 1999.
Sure.
I always spend Christmas
right
inside.
there.
Because even if I go out, let's say around February, I will stay March, May, June, July outside, showering money. But when it comes to August, September, I mean, even on TV, you will see it's the time where the guys are starting to make the money.
Uppies,
Then
uppies.
by November, Sofire KingThis,
Gone.
Until now, I ended up doing something very, very big that led me to be sentenced now to the 15 years that you
Yeah.
guys heard about as the viewers. And for me, it was not necessarily scary, but it was a bit of a worry because I've never stayed in prison for more than
For
5
that
years.
long,
I will
sure.
get sentenced to 18 months. I will get sentenced to 3 years, close to 4 years, but I've never stayed in prison for more than 5 years. So it really cracked me in a bit. I think that's where it made me realize that, is prison going to be like the rest of my life? Is this what I'm going to live for? And luckily I had a son, I think by 2000, if not 2001. So the son was also something that was ringing in my head. I think,
That you need to go back.
God was actually showing me that you cannot bring someone on this earth and not take responsibility for it as a man, But
Sure,
but at that moment, I wasn't worried much about it. It was just coming to my head until I traveled most of the prisoners of South Africa into CMEX, where we were in a solitary confinement for about 9 months, staying there in and when you go out you get coughed by at the back and your feet.
Your
when you go,
feet.
and when it's 1 hour exercise, you exercise it on a cage. If you remember, I told that story that if you are tired,
sure.
there's a chair for you to sit down there and stuff. But now my highlight there will be that story of that guy, Solomon Mart. You remember? I mean, I can't, you guys listen, I can't forget that part, because for us it was a major thing, because we know that even on TV, that guy was being, talked about all over. Hey, Mate this, Mate that, Mate this. And we were with that guy at that year when he was escaping, and every time people are disputing about, but look, man, he didn't go out of the window. Someone opened for him and stuff. We will come in and say, look, we were there with that guy. We will tell you what happened. He really went out of that window as same way he said it did, with the Vaseline and whatever the case might be.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So that's like my story, like in a nutshell, guys, because I mean, I'm writing a book already and it's almost done. Thank you so much for that, my sister. So I also want people to really buy my book and be able to read more, about Sofire in that book.
But before we conclude your story, because your
Yes.
story does not end there.
It doesn't at all.
Let's take a short break. And
Nice
then when we
one.
come back, I want you to tell the listeners and the viewers the freedom.
Yep.
What got you out of that
Yep.
space?
Yep. Thank you so much, my dear.
Our lives are constantly bombarded with information. But how much of this information truly brings spiritual growth or encouragement? Cape Pulpit is a Christian radio station with a calling to spiritually equip you for the day of tomorrow, offering more than just sermons and testimonies. We explore the Word together, discuss current affairs, and focus on strengthening families. Tune in now across the Western Cape on 729 AM. That's AM or MW, not FM. Alternatively, visit our website or download our app to listen wherever you are. Cape Pulpit 729 AM, your daily companion.
You are listening to Radio Cape Pulpit on 729 AM. Your radio compass on the road to true living.
That is right. It is the road to true living. I've got a message there from Zwei saying, Sofire, bring us the fire. Welcome, my man. Happy birthday or happy belated birthday to you. God bless you. So please do send in all your messages betunana on Facebook and all the other platforms that you would love to send Sofire a message of happy birthday. And really, just you to commend him. This story, that's what I'm saying. It's not just a prison story.
Yep.
Somewhere, somehow, you and I feel confined in some way or form. Our families as well. So we're now coming to the place of freedom.
Yep.
I remember you telling me a story where there were guys doing gumboot dance and all the other places, and that's where you got your motivation. Tell us that part.
No, guys, look, it's very interesting how, also Musa put it in that way, because I was actually gonna go there, when I was in the middle of like the CMEX part, because it all started in CMEX, in a solitary confinement, with those 1 hour exercises. And those, ghosts, because they were ghosts as well. The people couldn't sleep at night. Because remember, look, Musa, exactly. That was the place where people used to be hanged back in the days. Yeah, understand?
Sure.
Yeah. So when I went out of it to a nearest prison, which was Central, where these guys, Eugene Tikok, were there, and, Louis, the guy that killed Krizani, so to speak, were in that prison. It was more like a prison in Pretoria where they are holding those guys that were politically, politically, crimes and stuff like that. That's actually where this thing happened now, I was a bit freaked out because their culture is different than ours here in Cape Town. They've got numbers from 23 to about 30, whereas we here in Cape Town, in the Western Cape, or probably in the Eastern Cape as well, we've got about 26, 27, 28. Those guys got 23, 24, 25. Somehow I was thinking that maybe this is a joke, man. You can't behave it. But it's well respected, because you got a guy that will say, hey, high up 5, he's like 25. Hey, high up 3, he's like, 23.
Yeah.
So it was a bit confusing for me to settle and see how can I say
which one you fit
exactly
in,
and in prison at that time you are required now to be more harder of a man. Anything that comes to you, sometimes you just attack it in a very ugly way, so that no one takes you for a fool and all that. But luckily there was those guys who were, in my culture and stuff. They will call on me and say, okay, look, man, we respect you. We heard that you were in CMEX. Apparently, being in CMEX was a big thing. It get the people to be scared of you. Like, wow, this guy comes from CMEX and stuff.
So Ukbaki level. So when you come out, like,
don't touch that guy. He comes from, party. But the funny part is that they will say that in Tswana, because there's a Tswana, it's a Tswana speaking, or let me say Tswana, Pedi, Sotho. It's just a mix, man, of languages and stuff. So sometimes they will say it in that way that I don't understand. Me bra, ashula, asile mutola, what's wako CMEX, me bra, wang first start uskaba. So I had to force myself to learn those languages in that critical condition and stuff. To this extent, my sister, I can't really master it. But in any case, I'll start with CMEX. CMEX didn't give us any books. There was no library.
Yeah.
But the glorious thing about it, they gave us the book called the Bible.
Gotcha.
I knew God. I knew Jesus. I knew the story of Jesus and Mary and all of that. But I never really read the Bible. My grandmother was a churchgoer so profoundly. Sometimes he would take me to church. Unfortunately, she passed away when I was about 9 years old. I didn't really go to that, but in any way, R.I.P. Magoko, you understand? So now I started saying to myself, okay, it's really boring here. I don't want to get mad like the other people, because some people are don't sleeping in the night. They sleep in the day because they feel like there's these ghosts that come and succumb them in the night and stuff. And I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
So there was a day also where I felt, there's this thing they call a manuel.
Like your hair
exactly
standing.
It's like there's a ghost inside, is talking and all that. And then the next morning when that guy of the book say, hey, book, I said to myself, I'm taking the Bible.
Yeah.
My sister, I read the Bible at first in the beginning and all those stories, and I was bored. I'm like, no, man, I know this. It's been said on school in the beginning. There was, you know what I mean, the word and all of that. So I jumped into stories of like that guy, Joseph.
Yeah.
From the start, I was Joseph, my lady, because when I was reading the story of this guy, I was this guy. To a point where that guy became a dream explainer to the king Pharaoh.
Yeah.
When no one could get close to Pharaoh at the time.
Yeah.
So those stories bring a little bit of a spark of reading in me, number one.
Yes.
And a spark of understanding that no wonder people have this thing of faith in Jesus and in God and in the Holy Spirit. It's because the historical events that are written on the Bible are lifetime, my sister. They can heal you, you know. So I went on to read the story of Solomon. I went on to read the story of, you know, Paul. I remember telling you that story of Paul really struck me to that level extent, because I was like, wow, this guy was killing Christians.
Sure.
Yet, you know, something came to him. And there was a time where I was like, look, man, I'm not going to wait for no spirit like Paul to come to me like a fire and say, I'm going to call on it to come to me while I am here in Cimex. In no time, I went out to Central. And then in Central, it was like that spirit was just forming some patterns for me to say, look, this is the fire that Paul experienced. But to you, it's going to come this way. Here are people here, they are doing Indlame Amazulu every day. Sometimes they're doing the battle. I'm like, wow, I love these things that these guys are doing.
The dance.
And I'm telling you, and there's a character there that is more entertaining, which I really fell in love with. So I went there to always just clap first and clap first. And then after that, remember I got that love for that thing there, but they took me out of that prison very same time to send me to a Peter Maritzburg prison.
Okay.
Now there, it's real Zulus. Number one, they don't compromise. You tell the guy that, oh man, your corn fell there, way up le 5 rand yakho mntanami. Iwe kuphi mfowethu? Iwe lapha emngxunyeni. Yini leyo mfowethu? Funeke ngomna nikhangela igama lesizulu for that thing. Then I ask someone else, no mgodi. Then I say, iwe mgodi, athi ke ngoku awusho ngani?
Why don't you say
what
so?
I mean? It's like he wanted
Why do
to
you
say,
take so long to get to this one sentence?
Wow. But in any case, my lady, what I liked is the fact that now I was in their territory. They welcomed me well. Culture or no culture, they respected their even today. I mean, I've got a very special place in them. If you remember, when I have events, I always wear umkhela because I was with those guys for almost 3 years. I stayed with them. And when I was there, I noticed now when I was going for these ndames and do the clapping, there were a bunch of guys that will mix that with gumboots dancing.
Okay.
And then I was like, gumboots dancing? No, man, I remember when I was a kid, around 7,
I used to
8,
see this.
I used to, look, we used to do it, but it was more a kiddie thing, you know. We never really grasped it as a dance or something like that. We use this as entertaining, and sometimes we'll go to Mitchell's Plain to bask about it. But someone at the time was like using us for that basking and stuff, So I was like, wow, I'm going to join these guys of Campus Dance. They trained me, their moves, we did all then I fell in love so much with that dancing that it was that fire of Paul. Gotcha. After that, my lady, I had to compromise the culture now. Yes, I was within the culture, but my priority was the campus dance. It felt like the campus dancing was the medicine. If the warden in the morning comes and count us 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. After eating, if the guy say practice time, I take my campus and go to practice.
So it was the fire that was inside of you calling you to do this.
I'm telling you, and that transformation, that's why I respect activities. That transformation of Sofire being a new creature happened through those activities before I could even... It was like God said to me, I'm going to use this to get to you.
Yeah.
Because that way I started seeing the light now that God is real.
Come on.
I started feeling my prayers too, my lady. I'm like, when I pray, I can feel that I'm praying now. And when I receive that blessing, maybe on the day after... my other friend called Claire that used to write for me, thank you so much, Claire. I always bring her name up. Yesterday she took me out for my birthday and her husband, Claire, my lady, Claire, is a sister, is a mother, is everything to me. So after that, I will receive letters from Claire with very, very good scriptures for me to quote, you know, and bring me some good books for me to write stuff out of my head. I started seeing my writing too, that it's more different than saying, yeah, mizuzu, man. Martino
Got
line.
you.
Uyadlala wena. but anyway, guys, let me stretch this to a moment of a joy.
Yeah.
When I was coming back home from Pietermaritzburg, I went to Drakenstein prison, and Drakenstein prison, you know, I already was like a rank, so it wasn't a difficult thing for me to get along with the guys and be in the what do you call this, in a welcome moment and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was in no time that I noticed that I'm burning, man. I need to be somewhere like a medium prison where I can really express this gift that I got from the KZN. You know what I mean? So luckily the year went by. I was still in the culture, involved so much that, you know, I was even plotting some conspiracies around, you know, wardens being stabbed and stuff. But that's the story of another day.
Yeah.
But it was like God says to me, my son, I know I've done something to you, and I know you are so highly looking for a moment where you can, you know, blossom it out. But I just wanted to see now if, you know, I can be able to get you out of this whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Then I see that my son is fine. I will still use that to make sure that you are still shining and recognize me well inside. Don't worry about what's happening outside.
Yeah.
Then I started reading books. My first book was Emotional Intelligence by that guy, Daniel Goleman. It's like I had a love now for reading, which shapes me to understanding words, which shapes me to be able to, you know, interact and exchange conversation, because I've got Claire that comes visit me, and Claire is like an English-speaking person.
Bless you, Claire.
My lady.
Sure.
Luckily, I went out of Drakenstein prison now to Goodwood prison, which is a medium prison. It was like a bed that was open up from the cage to fly.
Oh, wow.
Because Goodwood prison had activities, but they were not well shaped. Sofire now came there to say, look, we are going to have Pantsula and Zulu dance and Gamboots dance and Gamboots dance, guys. Don't worry about it. It's going to be something that you've never, because Gamboots dance of Cape Town, I mean, doesn't really go the same as that. It's almost dying because people didn't put the spice. After that, our Gamboots dance was going in and out of prison because it's being invited somewhere. They have never seen something like that. Where mama no yake mama. This guy with the mkhela, and I had something like Ichoba that I will always carry and be like, within the same, dancing and stuff. So it really, really became my tool at the end of the day, my godly gift that I never knew I had, and it blossomed in Goodwood so much that Goodwood got jealous of it, but I understand the wardens has got the different system because they saw that Sofire is scaring too much now. He always wants us to open the key. The wardens sometimes are lazy most. So I always carry my campus dance. Yeah, even when I know sometimes I go for my own people's and stuff. You know, so I was really up and down. And for me, I mean, it really was very long that I was locked up. So to have a freedom like that, it was also my way of, you know, trying to express it and enjoy it. And I also got visited by my old family members in Khayelitsha, Uncabakazi, Litile, which made me really realize that, wow, you know, I mean, Goodwood, I mean, ndiyayazi lapha, you know, bendla ngoyiqhekeza ngala xesha namsamosha. You know what I mean? But I went to Voorberg. And I tried to flourish a bit in Voorberg when I came in. But, you know, in prison, no matter how much we have welcomed the change, but because we are still members of the culture and we are being recognized as ranks and stuff, we always have to go through the system first when we come into a new prison. Introduce ourselves at the rank, make sure that everyone knows us, so that now whatever we choose to do later on, we can have a way on how to be able to justify it or defend it, you know, so that we don't get to be called to go stab someone because we have done something wrong. It's
Got
very, very
you.
deep, my lady. But in any way, Forpech welcomed me, and I had to make sure that everyone knows me, and my Zulus always spoke for me quite well because, it's a different...
Multilingual.
Nice one. Yeah. and of course, I was going with the light. Jesus was always shining to open the doors and stuff.
Sure.
And also, luckily, there was a guy called Seda. Seda used to be like a gunslinger in Crossroad back in the days. I don't know if you know him. They also used to rob Haste with Abapore, and all that. So he was quite a friend that we know him. But because of the many years that he got sentenced to like life and, 100 years and stuff, he felt like, look, man, this is the only thing I can do. He's a very poetic guy. He was so much like Mzwakembuli. And he had this vision of building a very profound organization that will do these activities.
Yeah.
So he picked me up to be someone that will be part of the board, and he was a chairman. I was, an organizer, especially when it comes to activities. So we form some kind of a board, man, that will make us feel like, wow, we are doing this now professionally or officially, and then we carry it on. We carry it on.
Jonga, Sofire, your story is so rich. It's so rich. I feel like an hour is too little. And we need a part 2. We need a part 2 because it's beautiful, it's rich. You see God in all the trends.
Yep.
And taking you from one end to another.
Amen, my sister. Amen.
We literally got like 1 minute left.
Yep. We can wrap it up.
What are the parting words now that you're living on this side?
Yep.
One, you are known as the Zumba King because you are everywhere. Virgin, active, Zmangman, there's so many things that you do. But what are your parting words and where can people find you?
All right, my parting words will be like, Sofire, invite him. He is a cracker of an entertainer, on MC as a master of ceremony. He is a king of the dance fitness.
Come on.
Even in the gyms, Virgin Active Athlone, Virgin Active Greenpoint, Virgin Active Kenilworth. You'll get him even by Ignite Fitness. But he also does, outdoor events. So on Facebook, he's Sonwabo Bomvana. His number is 084-337 4739. 084-337. I'm doing radio now. 4739. And also my Instagram page is @SofireFit, guys. Follow me and then you will know more where I'm at and where you can get me, and even you can get to experience Sofire's sessions, which are very, very, very wild and very more entertaining. And I'm trying as well now to build from the scratch my YouTube channel. I've seen that, YouTube can quite work well when you have people that knows it quite well and stuff. Other than that, guys, be blessed and recognize the Almighty at all times, because at the time that you think that is not with you, is actually there.
Come on.
That's my word.
Hey, and that was Sofire Betnana. I don't know. I'm thoroughly blessed. There are people that came through their messages. Uzwai, Utinka, thank you for telling your intriguing story in such a lovely, honest, and humorous way. Wow, I'm listening with my full attention. Every word. Sure. And Zohai says, God bless you, Sofire. True testimony is that this gospel is for everyone. Danke, Grootman. Guys, I know. I don't know about you, but I've learned a thing or two. But what I want to say to you, God has created us for a purpose. Your fingerprints are totally different from the other person's fingerprints. So there's a particular way that he wants you to move. There's a particular order in how you need to move. So like we always say, we are made out of an imperishable seed. So wherever you are based, are planted, you need to blossom. This is Musa Jaguja, and of course had Sofire in the building, and we are signing out. Thank you so much for joining us. It was an amazing show. Be blessed. We love you. Until next time. Bye now. This is Church Hill saying, this is my season. Bye.